Hey everybody, Tom Barnes, stories from the 78, and we're going outside of the realm of the here and now and going into the Twilight universe. And why not, right? What the hell? That's why we got Twi Hard, the Twilight musical parody. I'm here with Rachel and Casey. How are you guys?
Doing great. Thanks for having us.
Good. How are you doing?
Yeah, absolutely. I saw this come across, and I just thought, oh, that's about time, really. Like to see something like this happening. But you guys are in the members of the cast, right, and part of the production. So tell people about it because they might assume one thing, but maybe it's another thing. So I don't want anybody to assume. So go for it. Let's see what you guys have to say.
Yeah, my name is Rachel and I play Bella. And this is just the most fun parody that, I think you could be a part of, and it really is like for the fans. There are we definitely poke fun at the franchise, but in a way that I think the fans really appreciate and in our opening weekend seem to, really really love, and there's a lot of wonderful in jokes and crazy music that's so fun to sing.
I mean, I second everything that Rachel said. I'm a new fan to the Twilight world, which is such an interesting experience to have, um, especially in this context. But it's been so much
Mhm.
fun, and there was so much energy last weekend from our audiences, which I think we all just were so excited about because it's just been hours for so long, and for Tiffany and Brian, our director and music director, to create this and to like hand it to all of us to just like play with was so much fun, and to get to like experience an audience there and hearing how much they were enjoying it was just a blast.
I imagine too, just the books came out several years ago. Even the movies now have come out several years ago too. So Casey, you said you're new to this. Did you know much about Twilight at all prior to like auditioning for the role, reading about the whole thing, and then fell in love with it all at the same time?
Yeah, I had like, a general understanding as much as I think anyone does just by existing because of how prevalent Twilight is and has
Yeah.
been. I had seen, I think, at least the first movie one time, and so generally, but then going into it, I was like, all right, if this works out, I'm about to learn a lot. And I did. I was like, let's read all the books. Why not? Like, if I didn't get to have that experience when I was 13, then why not have it when I was 27?
Oh, and I love the fact that you guys kind of poke fun at it, because when it came out, it was such this phenomenon, right? The books were a thing, the movies were a thing. And for a minute there, it took itself really seriously, And then shortly right after, or even maybe towards the end of the last movie, there was a couple of I don't even remember what it was, but it shifted a little bit where it could make fun of itself and it was okay to because you're like in on the joke. And all the stars have gone on to do huge things in terms of entertainment. I mean, heck, Robert Pattinson is Batman. You know what I mean? So like, people have gone on to do great things, and I think it's just because they're able to look back, take it seriously for what it is, but also have fun with it. And when necessary, you can poke a little fun, right?
100%. I mean, I think that there's this really awesome fun behind it, and watching the movies, and I love them, but you have to admit to yourself there are things in them that are silly, or some of the logic in the books you're like, okay, yeah,
Yeah, that's
we're
what I'm
just gonna
saying. Yeah.
roll with this. um and I think it's beautiful to be able to kind of interact with that but still do it, I don't know, very truthfully. It still feels like, when I'm watching all of our cast do these performances, I'm still seeing truth and vulnerability through all these through all this silliness and these exaggerated characters, and I'm still seeing bits of truth in ourselves really come through in each of these characters.
And I imagine it's just a very something that was nothing that was created and then given to you guys, as Casey was saying. It's got to be such a wonderful experience to embrace the characters and embrace the music, the writing, the comedy. I imagine it's a lot of fun doing that in a space that is the theater right there on Clark Street. What is that? Just north of like Wrigley Field, like 3900 North Clark Street. And you have this wonderful program where you have pay as you, what you can, versus the tickets that are very reasonable $30 tickets. Can you talk a little bit about the theater company itself, either one of you, about just how you guys want to embrace theater and make it accessible for the community?
Yeah, I think that the language you're using is perfect. I mean, accessible. It's accessible. And that's what theater should be. So it's really nice to be doing a show with a theater that believes in that and that is actively making that happen and um, creating a world that theater should be. So it's been really great. They're lovely people. They just really care about the people that they work with, and the energy there is so welcoming. And I was telling some friends who are excited to come see the show that as soon as they walk in the door, they're just gonna feel warm and comfortable, because that's so much of I think what they bring to the table, and you feel that in the performance as well. It's a very intimate space, and the audience is very much a part of the experience just as much as we are as we're on stage.
And I know that a lot of the music in it, or all of the music in it, is original music to something like this. So I gotta imagine it's exciting to see where this can go, right? Like you guys are you're the pioneers of this particular version of the a Twilight, the universe of Twilight, right? In this form. So I imagine it's exciting to think about where it could go beyond the run that you have here. I'm guessing people are excited to uh, come in and see it, and you said that people are responding to it well. Where do you envision that? What do you want people to get out of this, I guess, is my question.
I mean, I'm really hopeful that people take away, this really strong sense of community and obviously like laughter. It's cold, it's sad out right now. I think we all could use just a little bit of laughter and catchy earworms to kind of make, the walk in the 29 degrees a little bit better. And I also just hope that, they take this love of theater and this love of like being a part of this community together.
What about you, Casey?
Yeah, I think what Rachel said about it's the time of year when things are slower, and I think all of our brains are moving a little bit slower as well. And when I think about like even some of my friends who have already come to see the show who are Twihards themselves and who like grew up with such a love for this, like it's such a there's so much community in Twilight as just an entity. And so for people to have a night where they can just sit and enjoy all of the jokes and memes and like quotes that they've loved for years now in a different form, I think is so special. So yeah, I hope that if people come to see it, that they they feel just comfortable and seen and understood in their love for Twilight.
Yeah, that was my question. I was going to ask towards the end here was the folks who are like the diehard, Twilight fans. I imagine they're coming to see this, and what's been their reaction? And you kind of answered that a little bit, in terms of it sounds like they're embracing it because they love Twilight. So if you talk about it in a way that, or you do it in a way where you're paying respect to what it is, and you're putting all this effort into making original songs and really bringing the characters to life in a different kind of light, it's got to be fun all around.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think like it's a great time. And Tiffany, our director, really is like a die-hard Twilight fan, which has been wonderful because, it feels like she, first of all, is sharing that with us, but also has made it accessible for us and has been like, oh, but we should like do this little bit because this is a really big joke in the fandom and the people are going to love it. And so far, I mean, I think they have. I was on Reddit and I saw like a thread about the musical and I was like, okay, people are happy. Okay.
Oh, good.
So that's just exciting, and getting to share this joy with people in the fandom really is cool.
Yeah, and creating something that's original in your own way. I can speak from just self experience. It's really great when people respond to it, right? And you work hard, and people who like it, you feel appreciated, you feel vindicated, and I imagine the cast does. And I'm sure everybody knew it was great, but when people come in and react, that's just a whole other it's a thing you can't buy. You know what I mean? You can't buy a reaction from a crowd when you work so hard on something and people like it. It's such a rewarding feeling. So kudos to both of you and the entire cast that did this, and the directors and the original writing. I mean, that's fantastic, and I love that it's happening here in Chicago, right here, right in the middle of Lakeview. You know, just down on Clark Street. So, like you said, it's a small stumble away from a few drinking holes down the way on Clark Street and to come up, you know, so you can make a whole night of it, is what I'm saying. You can go into the theater, sure you can have a beverage there, then you walk down Clark Street, and then you can take an Uber or the Red Line home. Do what you got to do, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
exactly. You can also get a drink at the theater. They have a
Yep.
bar. We've got signature cocktails.
Yep.
You know, come get drunk with us.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Okay. Fair
with
enough. Yeah.
these
Do
right
that and then stumble to the bars. You know, don't come pregame. You want to be sober before the start of the show. Absolutely. If how long does the show run through? It's like Marchish, right?
Yeah, right now it's scheduled out through the second weekend of March.
And where should people go and grab their tickets? And how does that work? And how many shows do you guys generally have during? It's weekends, right?
Yeah.
Weekends, yes. Friday through Sunday. Friday and Saturday are evening performances. Sunday is a matinee. You can get tickets at otherworldtheater.org.
Awesome. Well, Casey and Rachel, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I can't wait to come check this out. Sounds like a lot of fun.
Thanks so much.
Wonderful. Thank you. Have a great day.